Oh my gosh, people of the world, welcome to Marketing is a Foreign Language, your show for entrepreneurs, small business owners, people who want to make a buck on the internet, who want to learn the nuances of marketing. Today on the show, a little something new. Directly above my brain is a little chat box that apparently, if you hit a comment or add a comment, then poof, I hear it will appear there. We're going to give it a shot, see how it works. So go ahead and leave a comment so we can test this out. Today on the show, Facebook removes over 1,000 ad targeting options due to low usage. Facebook publishes a new report on the impacts of the Covid-19 lockdowns on small and mid-sized businesses. TikTok adds new option to insert text headings onto video thumbnails. Facebook adds new informational prompt when users share COVID-19 related information. Genius not looking so smart after Google escapes liability for misappropriating lyrics. That's an interesting news story. Google launching people cards in search. What the heck are those? I guess we're going to find out. And a Google search bug wreaked havoc on search results on Monday night. Did you know that Marketing as a Foreign Language starts right now? Well, it turns out we should have moved that one. There we go. Uh-oh. And I have entirely disappeared, and I'm back. Wow. We're going to have to figure out a way to get that chat thing not in front of the other thing. Oh, bugs. Who doesn't love a bug? All right, so Facebook removes over 1,000 ad targeting options due to low usage. So Facebook has been, obviously, for the longest time, known as the place where you can target someone who likes snowboarding, sriracha on their burritos, makes $50,000 a year, etc., which is to say you can target whoever you want. Apparently over 1,000 ad targeting options were just a bit too much. So it is possible that Facebook's going to go by way of Google, meaning that they're going to simplify. They're going to bring it down. So Facebook explains, according to the Social Media Today article, as part of our latest efforts to simplify and streamline our targeting options, we've identified cases where advertisers of all sizes and industries rarely use various targeting options. Infrequent use may be because some of the targeting options are redundant, while others, or because they're too granular. I think that's a typo, to really be useful. So we're removing some of these options, which makes sense. But then again, it still seems like Facebook would only remove ad targeting options for a reason. I would agree with that. This is by Andrew Hutchinson. Back in 2018, for example, Facebook deleted more than 50,000 ad targeting categories in order to stop potential discriminatory targeting and the exclusion of certain audiences. That came after an investigation in 2016 found that the platform's advanced ad targeting options could be used to exclude people based on ethnicity from property ads, which is in violation of federal laws. So is it in Facebook's best interest to remove thousands of ad targeting options, or is this because those ad targeting options are illegal or simply in violation of federal laws? Most of the 5,000 options removed related to ethnicity and religion. Then last March, Facebook implemented new rules around audience targeting relating specifically to housing, which is a major hot button issue, employment and credit ads. So in the past, any of these changes have related to misuse concerns, which Facebook says is not the case this time around. So are they actually getting rid of ad targeting options because there's just too much? Facebook's removing multicultural affinity segments and encouraging advertisers to use other targeting options such as language or culture to reach people that are interested in multicultural content. Facebook's also combining targeting options which represent military bases or regiments. Facebook says advertisers can still reach these audiences by targeting military as an interest. But they could both be used in reverse too, right? This is according to Andrew. If I wanted to exclude people of a certain ethnicity, I could use multicultural affinity as an exclusion to keep them from seeing the ad. While if I didn't want to advertise to military personnel, I could use the targeting options to limit my ad exposure. So Mr. Hutchinson at Social Media Today is making the argument that you still can discriminate using Facebook's ad targeting. So while Facebook's saying that it's removing these options because they're just not seeing much use, it seems that it may have also detected some possible future concerns. I would imagine that Facebook is cutting these because Zuckerberg has to stand in front of Congress. He has to testify a lot, and I think he's probably getting quite tired of it and does not want to, I guess you could say, do that anymore. So he's going to try to avoid that at all possible costs, which I cannot blame him. Again, if someone's watching this and wants to leave a comment either on YouTube or Facebook, that would do me a solid as I am testing out this chat box floating above my brain. That would be helpful. Okay, Facebook publishes new report on the impacts of the COVID-19 lockdowns on small and mid-sized businesses. Last month, Facebook published its first global state of small business report, which provided a snapshot of how businesses around the world are dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic based on responses from more than 30,000 small business owners across 50 countries. And the results, as you might expect, were sobering. The keynotes are: a third of the small and mid-sized businesses surveyed reported a workforce reduction as a result of the pandemic. 26% of businesses around the world had to entirely shut down their operations from January to May. In some countries, up to 50% of businesses were forced to close. So how have things changed in the last month? Today, Facebook published its second report in the new series, which provides a comparison between the initial data and where we are now placed. And while, again, the data is fairly bleak, there are some positive notes. Explained by Facebook, small and mid-sized business closure rates fell by 8 percentage points compared to our May findings, from 26% to 18%. And while the proportion of operational small and mid-sized businesses that reported a year-on-year decline in sales remains distressing at 57%, it has decreased by 5 percentage points from May to June. So I suppose you can make the argument that things are getting better, perhaps. Perhaps this is an argument you can make. Some of that data is obscured by the last report, but it's worth noting the evolving situation. Here are some of the highlights from Facebook's Wave 2 update. So we've got closure rates by region. Wave 1 in North America, 24%. Wave 2, 15%. Part of that, however, could be impacted by permanent closures. Exactly. If some of the businesses shut down completely from the first report, they wouldn't be reflected in the second stage. This makes sense. But overall, it does appear that more businesses have been able to reopen following the first push. Facebook also includes a sector-by-sector breakdown of impacted businesses. So there you go. There's also a positive note on the sales front, with the year-on-year sales impacts reducing from the first period. Okay, so if small businesses are not able to run, that will have consequences around the spectrum. So it's worth noting the current state and considering how it impacts your plans. This, of course, is true. So slightly positive news. You could argue that a lot of the businesses closed, and so they're not reflected in this second round of data from Facebook. TikTok, always in the news, continues to be in the news. TikTok is under a cloud right now, according to Andrew here with Social Media Today. And that maybe it's not the best time to provide updates on potential tools that marketers can use to maximize their TikTok presence. That's funny. That was exactly my thought when I saw this. TikTok adds new option to insert text heading. I'm like, why do I care about TikTok adding an option to insert text headings when Microsoft may just buy them or they may disappear entirely? So according to Andrew, if TikTok is eventually sold to a U.S. company as expected, it will likely remain an important consideration, I guess. Fine. So New feature alert. You can now put text on the cover of your videos to give followers a preview of what your video is about. Find it on the cover editing page when you're done. So there you go. Small little update on TikTok. Don't really know if that matters. Will Microsoft buy TikTok? Will Twitter get into the game with TikTok? Who knows? I certainly don't. Let's take a look at this. Facebook adds new informational prompt when users share COVID-19 related content. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Jason, for leaving a comment. Put your hands together, everybody, for Jason Noggle. He did it. He left a comment, and it appears directly above my brain here on the show. So much thank you. So much, Jason Noggle, with First Foundation Bank, the amazing Jason Noggle, leaving a stellar comment. That is so exciting. It is, in fact. Jason, I am so excited as well. It actually works. You can write whatever you want, people. The question is, does Facebook work? So we'll have to see if we can get a comment from Facebook. If we can, we'll see if that pops right in there. And that will be super cool. That way people can ask questions live. Everyone can see the question. They can see me ignoring weird questions and comments. And we can all have fun together on the live stream. So instead of me blabbering incoherently for 30 minutes, perhaps there will be some back and forth. So with the misinformation about COVID-19 still gaining significant traction across the social media ecosphere, or ecosphere perhaps, including contradicting reports on mask wearing, possible cures, potential treatments, etc., I think essential oils will just totally solve all our problems. Facebook is adding another tool to try and slow the spread of such posts with a new pop-up that will appear when users go to share COVID-19 related posts, pointing them to official health resources and providing more context to the post. Thank you to my wife for hitting the like button on Facebook. Super helpful. As explained by Facebook's David Gillis, we've seen good results from our informed sharing screens, and today are rolling out a new treatment for COVID-19 related links. Before resharing, you'll see links, source, and date. We hope this helps get more context at a time and a topic that's rapidly evolving. I mean, this to me makes a lot of sense. If Facebook's going to play teacher or cop or both, perhaps it is in all of our best interest for them to help people realize when they're making obvious mistakes. Now, I'm not saying if you are politically opposed to something that you shouldn't be able to share it, because you clearly can. What I'm saying is, if you are saying that lemon juice cures COVID, then perhaps Facebook should step in with at least this, which is a prompt saying, hey, look, all of the science is against you here. Obviously, I get the slippery slope argument. I understand that this could go sideways very quickly. But if it does prevent 10 to 15 to 20% of misinformation on the web, well, then there you have it. So the new pop-up will show the user the source publication and how long it's been publishing on Facebook. It'll also provide the original date that the article was published, which may help to slow the redistribution of older posts. Jason writes, I like this idea, and I would agree with him wholeheartedly. Facebook added similar prompts for general posts when people look to share content that's more than 90 days old. So it's the latest in Facebook's various efforts to curb the flow of COVID-19 misinformation. And there you have it. Facebook stock was kind of going, or it was in the news recently because there were rumors that the giant boycott would seriously affect them. As you can see here, they sit at $261 currently. And I don't know. I would argue that there really has not been a negative impact. So there you go. Facebook stock on the rise, up from March, up from its previous highs in January. And the other big stock is Pinterest, which just absolutely jumped like crazy. Thank you to Jennifer for hitting the like button on the Facebook Live. Much appreciated. If either Lanesia or Jennifer would leave a comment to help us realize or understand whether or not those comments are going to appear directly above my brain, that would be much appreciated, given the fact that I'm testing out this new chat software on today's show. But then again, we shall see. So, Genius not looking so smart after Google escapes liability for misappropriating lyrics. I read this one today. This is an interesting little story about who owns song lyrics. So, Greg Sterling with Search Engine Land writes, oh, thank you to Chelsea. There we go, killing it. Chelsea Smith, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to Chelsea Smith. I don't know if you followed any of her Facebook Lives, but she's absolutely killing it. An inspiration to me. And every time I hop on live, I think about her and the incredible work that she's done. Facebook's working just fine. So Chelsea Smith with a hello, brother. Hello to you. This is so cool. It is Leah Morrison. We got Leah Morrison in chat. We got Esther in chat. We got Jason Noggle. BNI folks are representing. So very cool. Very awesome. Awesome stuff. Keep that chat rolling. Keep it going. If anyone at any point has any questions, by all means, please let me know. Happy to answer any of those. Okay, so this story is about, of course, Chelsea, you're amazing. So this particular story is about misappropriating lyrics. So last December, song lyrics website Genius, sued Google and partner Lyric Find in New York State court for allegedly misappropriating song lyrics from its website. It charged 2 defendants with breach of contract, unfair competition, and other claims. The case was procedurally removed to federal court under the theory that it was really a copyright case. I don't know about you guys, but copyright scares me. Whenever we use photos online, whenever we're using lyrics, if I were to hum, a song, I always wonder what are the copyright potential issues. So federal courts have exclusive jurisdiction over copyright claims, which arise under federal law. So damages no less than $50 million. The original state court complaint said defendant Google and Lyric Find have been caught red-handed, misappropriating content from Genius's website. So basically taking song lyrics from Genius's website, which they have exploited and continue to exploit for their own financial benefit and to Genius's financial detriment. The complaint asked for not, quote, less than $50 million. So obviously, if you're Google, you have a major team of lawyers that are constantly fighting this battle, including, but not limited to, lost licensing and advertising revenue. The controversy and case were widely covered. Genius used a clever watermarking strategy to catch Lyric Find and Google allegedly stealing lyrics red-handed. So at the time, Lyric Find acknowledged that it had Genius lyrics in its database, etc. So too many untrained observers there were clearly seemed to be wrongfully behaving on the part of one or both of the companies. But here's what's interesting about it. In the end, even though the case was decided in Google's favor, it was mentioned during the antitrust hearings in Washington last week. It has undoubtedly contributed to the perception that Google is too powerful. Some of the concerns were behind the 28 revision of European copyright law. That was a big deal. We had to make. You ever seen cookies at the bottom of a website? That came from what was happening in Europe. But the basic idea here is that Genius wasn't the actual owner. So the music publishers owned the lyrics, not Genius. So I just feel like it'd be really tough to be a musician nowadays. So again, the music publishers owned the lyrics, and Genius rolled up and said, hey, how dare you steal from us? But really, Genius just had a, quote, derivative work, which means that they're not the ones that came up with it. So if Google rolls up and takes lyrics from a site that took them from the artist, the publisher, the music publisher themselves owned the lyrics. So the company potentially had actionable claims under state law, but the court held those claims were all preempted by federal law because they were really copyright claims. So they went away. And that was the end of that. So copyright is something that I will never fully understand. It is a nuanced world. Google launching something totally new. Chelsea might find this interesting. Any personalities online might find this interesting. It's a people card, and it's in Google search. The new feature enables individuals to create a knowledge panel-like card. So this is as of August 11th. Google has launched public search profile cards for individuals in India. Okay, not in the United States quite yet. The company announced Tuesday, known as People Cards. The new feature has already begun rolling out in English for mobile users in India. So what do we have here? As you can see, on the screen, we have an example of a people card. Does Google know everything about us? Yes. Is this the beginning of a dystopian nightmare? Perhaps. Why we care people cards may increase visibility for personal brands by making a knowledge panel-like list of links and information about individuals available to potential customers, clients, and or employers right from individual results. Yes. So Esther Sass giving me some love. When she says prez, she means president, and she means BNI president, which I apparently am for our local networking group. These people cards are actually quite interesting, and everyone who's chatting, very much appreciated. One of the reasons why chatting is so important on feeds like this is that it helps my business. It may not seem like it, leaving a little comment on a feed, but every YouTube comment, every Facebook comment, it all is part of the recipe for success. So much thank you to everyone for doing that. Individuals that have claimed their people card can add details such as a personal description, their occupation, employer, location, profile avatar, phone number. I mean, let's say you want to do some real link building. We've talked about link building ad nauseum on this show. And I have made the argument that trying to get a guest blog is very 2014. Here we have something that is legitimate link building. So it's coming out of India. It's absolutely cutting edge. I shouldn't say coming out of India. It's being beta tested in India. The second this goes live, let's say, for example, you can add a link on these people cards, which seems like something you should be able to do. There you go. Where you work, there's a link to it. Do you think that that is probably a better link? A link from a cutting edge Google launch to your website. If you had every single person in your company immediately make a people card and add links to your website, well, that's legitimate link building, ladies and gentlemen. So at the time of publishing, Google has yet to respond to our questions regarding whether this feature will receive a wider rollout. Well, we certainly hope it does, because this would be a fantastic way to build links. Cool new launch from Google there. A Google search bug wreaked havoc on the search results Monday night. The issue lasted several hours yesterday, putting the SEO community in a bit of panic mode. Monday afternoon, the SEO community began to notice a massive ranking change in the Google search results. Initially, it looked like the Google algorithm updates from the old days, but as time went on, it just looked like something was really off, as if there was a glitch. It was a bug, turns out. So a Google spokesperson told us last night, quote, "I confirmed with the team that this is a bug and that we are fixing it, but still in the process of fully diagnosing. So we don't have a specific detail to share right now." It just goes to show, just like we saw with Twitter not too long ago, the hack that basically brought them down and got everyone very scared about whether or not the information that we're seeing, even from former President Barack Obama, Elon Musk, I forget who else was hacked, Kardashians, could simply be not them. Now, obviously in the Twitter case, they asked for Bitcoin, which was fairly obvious to anyone with any experience with scams. But here we have Google with a bug, with an issue, with something that they didn't understand and they worked to fix. We live in a world where it feels like Facebook, Google are absolutely invincible. They, of course, are not. John Mueller of Google also posted about the glitch after my preliminary report of the issue. John writes, "I don't have all the details yet, but it seems like this was a glitch on our side and has been fixed. In the meantime, if someone could fix the other 2020 issues, that would be great." Nice, John. The timeline, the SEO community started noticing changes to the Google search results rolling out as early as 1:30 p.m. Eastern on August 10th. So this is very, very new. Then by 5 p.m. Eastern on August 10th, it seemed to have really started to roll out more fully. By 11:55, Google confirmed it was a bug, and by 12:40 a.m. Eastern on August 11th, Google said it had been fixed. So the issue seemed to last several hours in total. So your analytics may be nuts. If you see massive Google organic search traffic changes in your analytics or your SEO tools from yesterday afternoon through this morning, you should disregard it. Make an annotation in your analytics noting that organic search reporting should be ignored for that whole time, period. looking at it can really cause you some serious stress, and it is completely unwarranted. Everything should be back to normal this morning. It doesn't mean your rankings did not change. Rankings change all the time in Google, but whatever happened at a large scale yesterday was reverted and fixed according to Google. So there you have it. Here's an example of an analytics profile. This is probably month over month, or no, hour over hour. So here you've got a fairly normal curve of traffic, and then it just absolutely disappears. This, of course, is because the search results exploded. So a lot of examples of that happening. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, should we invest in Pinterest? Who knows? Pinterest, gigantic jump as of August 3rd. I'm kicking myself because I was thinking about it in March. Would have tripled my money. Ugh, Pinterest. Twitter stock, I wonder, given that they were recently hacked, did that affect their price? The answer is no, not really. No, not really. A lot of these social media platforms are back up to their previous highs or above them. So the stock market, is it a reflection of the economy? I think the short answer would be no, it does not. Facebook removes over 1,000 ad targeting options due to low usage. They say it's low usage, but I think they're covering their butts, trying not to get Zuckerberg in any more hot water, having to testify in front of Congress. If you think about it, if you are racist and you want to exclude an entire group, Facebook in the past, apparently, according to articles I've read, made it easy to do that. They obviously have an incentive not to have that be the case. And so anything that even smells of potential discrimination, they are going to try to shut it down. So I think the excuse is low usage. The reality is probably that Zuckerberg is entirely sick of getting in front of Congress. He wants to make his platform better, but they are walking on this tightrope of giving people the ability to target incredibly specifically. There was a story not too long ago of a college roommate targeting his roommate, specifically his roommate. And so targeting will only get closer and more refined. Facebook publishes new report on the impacts of COVID-19 lockdowns. We get it. So is the number of businesses shutting down decreasing because there just aren't as many businesses left to shut down? Or is it because we are actually heading in the right direction? I'll leave that up to you to speculate. TikTok adds new option to insert text headings into video thumbnails. Okay, great. They're continuing to chug along. Will they be sold to Microsoft or Twitter? We will soon see. Does the government of the United States have the right to shut down a foreign company? They sure do. China bans almost all of our companies from their country. Facebook adds new informational prompt when users share COVID-19 related content. It's a good article. I think Facebook's in the right here. I think they should be able to say, hey, look, essential oils don't cure coronavirus. And you may want to, check out this article from, a government or well-researched double-blind study scientific community website. So didn't you mention the new standards were because Facebook users boycotted sales and Zuck lost a fortune, according to Esser Sass? So there are a number of reasons why Facebook is making fundamental changes. One of which is that, yes, that there was a huge boycott. And part of that was because Facebook allows what many consider to be hate speech on the platform, and they're sick of it. So they're boycotting. Him losing a fortune, we read an article recently where we realized it's such an incredibly small percent. It's had almost no effect on the stock price. But they did institute an employee in the company now whose sole job is to try to, what was it? There was a new position on, I think it was like a racial justice position or algorithmic bias, I believe what it was. So they did make some changes, but are those changes enough? That's open to interpretation. Genius not looking so smart after Google escapes liability for misappropriating lyrics. Turns out that the publishers own the lyrics, not a website. And so if you take those lyrics, it's up to the person who actually made not the website, the content itself, the songs themselves. So Google launches people cards. Keep an eye on this. This is an incredible way to build some links in the future. It's only rolled out in India currently, but will come to the United States hopefully soon. And last but not least, Google had a crazy little snafu, just proving that they are not impenetrable. Oh my gosh, it's 11. I have a meeting right now. So thank you all for swinging on by. Thank you very much for all of the comments. Super cool. Loving that Facebook is working. Loving that all of this stuff is working on the stream. Super exciting. If anyone has any questions, I'm here every single day, 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Happy to go through these articles, but happy to answer specific questions as well. And so very much thank you. This right here, this browser source, I need to move down. There we go. So now we're going to do the outro. And thank you very much. We'll talk to y'all tomorrow. And that is that. Farewell.